the coolest thing to do here would just be to have like a writers group, a buddy
Agreed.
system, a back and forth. And I think a lot of people who don't have writers groups can dig in on this, and we can get other people involved. Um, but yeah, I just want to kind of catch up. We're writers, we're friends, we're colleagues. Every time I hear an update from you, it makes me want to work harder and to push more and to make sure I get my words in. And I would assume vice versa.
Yep.
So
I'm actually, and this is what's so cool, and I haven't actually brought this up, but it's just I've never had, okay, and I don't know about other authors. I know everybody says, "Oh, get a buddy system, blah 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 blah." But I've never had a buddy system until like you, where I went
darn right.
and it was just like a nonverbal agreement.
Right. And that exactly, and that's what it's been.
Yeah.
Because same. I've never had a buddy system. I honestly don't have many writer friends in my circle, like in my physical touch circle. I have a lot of musician friends.
Yeah.
We jam, we talk music, we do that kind of stuff. But I don't have a lot of writers in my physical immediate circle. And I've tried. I've gone to writers groups, but you almost get too much exposure. You almost get too much. You're spread too thin, and everybody's spread too thin. There's
I agree.
yeah, it's just a little too much. And so yeah, when we started with the Ichor and Ink, and we kind of developed our friendship and our relationship, kind of our back and forth, and our pushing each other, and helping each.
Bugging each other like, "Hey, did you write? Did you write?"
Did you write that? And being able to bounce achievements off each other.
Yeah.
It's pretty empty, and I see it happen a lot of times when you put an achievement up on a social media, and that's great because you're excited and you're happy and you want to bounce it off of your colleagues and your friends close to you. But it's kind of an empty response. Heart, like, congratulations. Okay, yeah, that's great. It is good. But to have someone, to have that camaraderie, that common goal, and to, bro, I wrote 12,000 words today, and this, Cyrus storyline just took this crazy turn, and
Yeah.
and then I finished that prologue. I was like, dude, this prologue is great. So
It
it's
is.
be able to bounce ideas off each other, accomplishments, goals, failings, etc. So
It is. It is. And like I said, it kind of became a nonverbal agreement where we just started sharing stuff like that with each other.
mhm.
And it's been really humbling, exciting, and rewarding to connect with somebody who not only writes in the same genre of that epic grand scale, right? The
Right,
massive world building where you really can go, no, this person gets it. When I say
right,
this, they get it because every genre is going to have a different scope. Every genre is going to have different requirements, different writing style, all of that.
yeah,
And I have so many writer friends that write in different scopes of different genres, and I could never, ever, ever be able to relate full heartedly to a contemporary romance moment, right?
right, sure,
Contemporary romance writers, they get it, man. They're
yeah,
in the zone. Their sole focus is on the characters and like the relationship building. There's a recipe to writing contemporary romance if
right,
you ask them. And for me, that's outside my scope. And while I'm glad for them and I'm excited for them, being able to have an accountability buddy system with somebody that actually writes in your genre,
yeah,
that's different.
yeah,
That
yeah. It
hits
is.
different.
It is.
Yeah.
It's really it's been my driving factor, honestly, in getting back to writing. You know,
Amazing.
Yeah, it has. The getting back to real life and getting back to, taking time away from Anatolian Press, and taking time away, and not taking all my time away from, but scaling it back to what is actually functional.
Balance.
Right, right. It's like, dude, that's a side project that's not bringing any money in, so you don't have to offer your soul to Satan every time, every minute of
Exactly.
every day. You don't have to do that. So,
No.
so that was the catalyst for kind of switching over to, focusing on me, on my family, on health, things like that. But the catalyst for finally saying, and I think I was able to say that because I became in a healthier place. But I think the catalyst for getting back to writing and actually putting the date, setting it, and writing every day and getting the story fleshed out and done was our little writers group, our friendship, our relationship, our writing relationship, etc. I think
Yeah.
that was really the kind of the push for it. So
There's something so authentic about it.
yeah,
And like I said, I've never had a buddy system ever. I'm extremely introverted, even with my own writing. And
yeah,
so it's very difficult for me to even actively talk about it without the marketing is different.
yeah,
I have a business relationship with the marketing,
right, right,
but to just actively talk about it and then have somebody just go like you go, holy shit, that's like freaking awesome, or what is this, what's that mean, all of
right,
that, and to have
right.
like genuine interest,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
huge. And it really has like it's completely like rewired my approach to even writing, like
awesome.
being able to read your prologue or some of the snippets you've sent me. Like I
Yeah,
think to myself, I'm like, wow, like you took so much time in explaining some of those scenes with the emotions, and it slows me down. And
yeah,
I go, revisit your work, Chelsea.
right,
Make sure like this is narrative. This is it,
right, right.
And it's like almost like a check-in.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
yeah,
it is, and it's good,
yeah,
and I think it's yeah, and hopefully that's what people get now that we've kinda changed directions and gone this direction. Hopefully other people get that.
yeah.
They get that encouragement or that push or, just whatever that a little bit of, a little bit of a reprieve from everything else, when they sit down and listen to this. So, yeah, I hope people get that.
It's
It's
a
funny
safe
you say
spot.
it's funny you yeah, safe spot, you said slow down when and that's my thing is like really dissecting every sentence, every paragraph, making sure that this is as fleshed out as possible. So 2 days ago, I was working on a paragraph. I think it had 7 sentences in it. I spent 2 hours on it, on one paragraph.
No.
Not like writer's block, not like, oh, I don't know what to write. No, seven sentences, 2 hours. Just does this word actually work? Or would this word relay what I'm trying to get across better? Okay, yes, let's use this word. And then is the timing and the flow of this sentence, does that help this paragraph or does it slow this paragraph down? Okay, we need to do this. So yeah, it was like that's how I write, man. It's like
That's my God.
yeah, yeah,
I can't do that. I can't do that. I'm a very leave notes to myself, right? We
yeah,
talked about that, leaving comments
right,
to myself, which Syra has quite a few.
yeah, yeah,
But cuz there's just a lot that I started writing, and cuz the panster in me took over,
right,
and it was just and the words just freaking exploded.
yeah,
And but
yeah,
because of that, a lot of the plotting and some of those minute details that are pretty significant
yeah,
in the grand scheme of things kind of got pushed to the side. And so I
right,
was just like, okay, leave a comment, and when you're ready, when you're done with the draft, return, do that.
right,
Like that's
right.
how I approach it. I edit afterwards.
Yeah. And I
Yeah.
wasn't editing, I wasn't looking for grammar or
Well,
I wasn't doing line
sentence
editing.
structure, come on, bro.
Yeah, only for the flow, only for the flow, Yeah, it's like,
That's
are you gonna
line
paint
edits.
a single stroke, for this bit of sky, or are you going to, paint different cloud textures and things like that. So that's kind of how and I don't do it all the time, but like this was a very pivotal scene. Not scene, it was a paragraph, man. Let's come on, it was a paragraph, but it just felt
It's a
very
pivotal
pivotal.
scene.
Yeah, but it was a pivotal.
Yeah.
So, anyways, like when I do short stories or when I can throw words down, I
Yeah.
can do that. But yeah, it just like now that I'm taking it seriously and I'm not doing editing, but I'm being very uh, intentional about
I
every
love
word,
that.
every sentence.
I
Yeah,
love that. That
yeah,
was when I read your prologue, and I didn't tell you this right away, but I'm going to tell you now. I read your prologue and I was just
no, no,
like, it sucked. No, I'm just kidding. I'm
yeah,
just
yeah.
kidding.
Crap, dang
No,
it,
I
friendship over.
that wraps up Icker and Ink,
Yeah,
everybody.
exactly. We're not in Ink anymore. We wrapped that up. We wrapped that up months ago.
Oh, but we still call it Icker and Ink.
Yes, we do. When we slip.
But so I read it, and that term slow down was really
Mhm.
ringing in my head because as we've said, there is such a tone and narrative style when you're working with epic and high fantasy.
Yeah,
And I know I get guilty of it where if I'm working on a first draft, I sometimes some of the scenes are rushed
Sure.
simply because I'm so eager to get to the next one that I
Right.
don't take
Right.
time to really dissect an emotion, a scene, a feeling, or just like those catalyst events when
Right.
something's shifting.
Right.
And reading that prologue, like, boom, right there in my head went, Chelsea, slow down.
Yeah.
And when I sat down that afternoon to write, it was like the real writer sat down and
Yeah.
was like, "Okay."
Yeah.
And I just wrote this gorgeous freaking chapter that was just when I finished it, I was like, I again, I thought back on your stuff. I was like,
Yeah.
"Did I slow down? Did I
Right.
let the chapter breathe?"
Right.
And I did.
Right.
And those emotions were there. Those that
Awesome.
single moment when, all the external factors, like
Yeah.
the way the wind brushes, the muscle tension, all of that,
Right.
and, like, what does
Right.
that mean for the
Yes.
character?
So good.
Yeah, because that's what it comes
Yeah.
down to. When you're really
Right.
digging into the epic and high fantasy, it's like you're digging into those emotions, and I know we've
Right.
talked about that, but that is key for character relation and relatability.
It is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like,
And
being
just
a
and just the
yeah.
world relatability, it's
Oh
just
my
it's
gosh,
so
yeah.
pivotal. So it's funny, and thank you for that. I take credit now for that epic chapter that you wrote. So
I'm
yeah,
not
that
even
is
gonna tell you then.
yeah, that's my chapter. That's my chapter that I wrote.
Just
Just
put
through your
chapter,
yeah
Micah's
yeah.
chapter.
This is Micah's chapter. Um, but no, it's really funny that you that you mentioned it. So the paragraph in question that took me 2 hours to write. There are two. This is kind of a back story bit where the two of the main protagonists are younger, and well, the king and Adamus,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Onodine and Adamus. This is when they're younger. So right after that prologue, it goes into this scene. So you're still not at what's happening now. You're like 30 years to the past, and they're going through these woods, and basically, I was getting to the point where they were getting through the woods and they were hitting the uphill. So they were hitting a incline in the woods that would
Ooh,
lead them to the Titan's Crown Mountains. And so that is where they're headed. That is where my paragraph took 2 hours, from the elevation from flat to the incline, because I was getting the shadows that
the
bounced off
shadows.
that bounced off the leaves, and how it changed when they started going up.
That so okay, so that's so freaking funny. So yesterday, was it last night? I can't even remember because I was writing yesterday evening and then I wrote last night, and that's when I
Mhm.
texted you this morning. I was like, "Bro, I was up
Oh
way
yeah,
too
you
late
had your
writing."
late night. Yeah,
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 like, it was like I was wired, and I still didn't finish the chapter,
yeah.
because it's a massive chapter. Writing it, it's so funny you say that about the shadows because Syra, she's in a situation where she acts on instinct rather than thought, and she's really taking control in her storyline in this one,
Mhm.
and she sees these soldiers which have been killed, um, resurrecting. They're coming back to life,
Cool.
and anybody who has read the prologue of The Blood of the Lion will understand exactly who I'm talking about.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so this is a callback to the prologue.
Yep.
And so they're resurrecting and she's panicking and she's like she sees one of the characters that she's come to be so fond of, a real friendship,
Mhm.
and they're getting ganged up on and she's panicking. And so she doesn't think, she just tries to get to them. But when
Yeah.
she gets to them, I'm in the middle of this intense scene. But we're in this valley with mountains everywhere and stuff
Yeah.
like that, trees, and I stop. I literally stopped for 10 minutes to try to write this one sentence about
Yeah.
how the shadows decorated the valley floor that she
Yeah.
stood on, and
Yeah.
trying to set the scene with now she's not above the battle.
Right. Right.
She's in the battle.
Right.
And how are we painting that
Right.
scene?
How does the
The
point of view
blood-soaked
shift?
ground, the
Yeah.
soil,
Yeah.
the way her boots sink in,
Yeah.
like, all the
Yeah.
shadows. Like, so it's so funny you said the shadows because I was like,
Yeah.
yesterday I was literally stuck on one sentence for 10 minutes just
Yeah.
trying to be like, "How do you
Right.
say that?" You
Right.
know?
And see,
Like,
and I'm not saying, I don't think it's stuck. I think it's taking the time to actually paint that brushstroke.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it's so exciting when it happens.
Yeah. It's just
Yeah.
so good, because then you read it and you're like, "Oh, yeah, ain't no mistaking." Ain't nobody gonna mistake that. Yeah,
Exactly.
we know exactly what's going on. And,
Oh my gosh.
and ain't nobody can say, you you rushed it, or
No.
this could have been. No, man, it's good. So
My favorite scenes are battle scenes.
yeah,
I love them.
yeah.
I love the intimacy of them.
Mine are.
Oh,
Those
Micah.
are
Wow.
I specialize in those.
Plot twist.
Yep, it usually is a plot twist and a
Yeah.
couple everything.
Everything.
Yeah.
Horns? I mean,
Oh, dude, whatever you got.
yeah.
Whatever you got. Yeah, bring it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a party. It's a party. So just bring everything. I don't know if I have a bleep that long. I might have to like copy and paste my bleeps. I don't know if we can bleep that long.
No, that works, dude. Keep it.
Yeah, keep it.
Keep
Get out
it
of
in.
here.
Keep it in.
We eventually, hopefully, want to get monetized, so we ain't gonna get monetized like that.
I don't know what you're talking about. That was perfect.
Yeah.
It's a big moment. I've been sitting on this one for a few days.
Oh, cool.
And the anxiety's starting because it's the realness of it.
Okay.
So one, I ordered my book cover last Friday.
Yes, you finally did it.
Yeah.
Good deal.
Yeah. So I've already.
I know you were talking about it last time we talked.
Well, it's been
You
official
actually
now.
did it.
It's
Good deal.
official.
Good deal.
And so I got to finalize the blurb, but
Yeah.
I had a draft 0 blurb that I was like, I kind of hate this blurb, but I'll simmer on it for a few weeks.
Yeah.
But I've already been in contact with my cover designer, so I'm very excited about that. So all these different ideas, color schemes, what I love about my cover designer is she doesn't just hear an idea, she wants to know about the idea. So
That's
she's
good.
like, she's like, okay, you want a sword like of some sort? And she's like, on the background, right? The shield's always the primary piece.
Right.
But she's like, where is this sword from? What are these guardians of death that you mention? And I'm like, well, it's so funny you bring that up.
Right.
Let's talk details.
Let's discuss this.
Yeah.
In detail.
In detail. Here is this much words.
Right.
For this little detail.
Exactly. Right. But I'm a writer, so this is what I do. You pull out your encyclopedia,
Exactly.
Yeah.
She's like, tell me more about the soul realm and stuff like that, because that's the inspiration behind this cover.
That's so good. That's so good.
Yeah. And so being able to tell her the details, like, okay, well, the soul realm was once living, now it's dying. There's this tampered evil energy that these Hanuel demons have messed with.
Yeah.
And now it's evolving and it's eating the living.
Yeah.
And now the soul realm is what it is now. And so being able to tell her those details.
Yeah.
I'm so excited.
Yeah, dude.
So
I'm super pumped for you.
So here, I am finishing Syra's storyline today. Today.
Goodness. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's why I'm like, those last couple of few chapters are always like, I always get possessed by some sort of demon monster.
Yeah.
And it's like, I have to get these done. And it's like, screw sleep, screw it all. Like this becomes my living, breathing entire intent.
Yeah.
Until it's done. And then I wait a couple of days and then I jump into the next character.
Yeah.
So Cyrus going to be finished up, and that leaves only Cyrus. And that is a huge moment because I'm looking at the dates and I'm realizing, I think, first off, I'm way ahead than I was last year, which is amazing.
I remember you were tripping last year.
Yeah, that was I aged about 50 years last year. That was never again. I was like, we'll get the cover early. We're gonna you freaking right, girl.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think that was a huge key point. I know you and I have talked about just the work-life balance and prioritizing yourself. And last year, my writing took a massive backseat. Yeah. And because of that, a lot of that timing suffered. And
I remember that. I remember what you were going through. I remember your writing suffered, and I won't say mental health. I don't know if you had any actual mental health issues, but your overall, happiness level, joy level, that suffered. I know,
Yeah, because when it's like your writing takes a backseat, and that is such a piece of you, and that's why I've bugged you so long about getting back into writing. Yeah, it is fuel for the soul, man. And you've got to prioritize that.
Not to derail or hijack what you're saying, but you're so right. Because man, now that I'm writing again, and I have a goal, and I have a focus, and I have intent. I just love that word. We've used that word multiple times, but I have intent in what I'm doing. Man, I'm just so much happier. Just so much happier. Just in general.
Thrive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's a piece of you. It's and not everyone is like that. There are right brain people, left brain people. There are creatives, and there are analytic type people, and everyone in between. But if you are a creative, and you suppress that for ages, for decades, for however, or for minutes, who knows? But it is going to change you, and yeah. So my joy level is just off the charts lately. So it's been really good.
I'm so happy to hear that.
Yeah, yeah,
It's you're living proof about what it means to prioritize your creativity when
yeah,
you are a creative soul.
yeah.
You can't suppress that.
Right.
It's
Well, I
miserable.
think, and people might be able to relate, because I don't think everyone is younger than me in the world. I don't think I'm the oldest person in the world. I might be. I might be. I don't know. But I think there are some people older than me or my same age. But my generation, generation. I just read an article yesterday. I read it yesterday that this generation considers 30 to 40 is when adulthood starts. 30 to
Your
40.
generation or my
No, no, no,
generation?
no, no. I think probably the generation after yours. So whatever the
Are they
generation
Gen
after.
A's?
I don't
Gen
know.
Alphas?
Is that what it is?
I don't
Please
know.
don't let it be that. That's such a dumb name.
It's
I,
such a dumb name. I'm
what? So
sorry. It's
what are
such a
you
dumb
considered? Are you
name.
considered Gen Z?
Yeah.
Okay,
I
because
think
I'm Gen
I'm
X.
not very good at the
I don't,
time
and
scale.
they all kind of bleed a little bit because I was
Yeah.
born in '80, but they say Gen X is like ends at 80. So I think I'm. Anyways, whatever
Okay.
this generation that they were interviewing, they say that the new adulthood is 30 to 40 because that's when you start taking yourself your finances seriously, and that's when you can start not living with your parents and thinking about a career and things like that. I was like, 30 to 40, dude, I was an adult at 17.
Bro,
like
yeah.
it's crazy. So my generation, we are very different, and of course the generations beyond mine, it's get out of the house, get a job, get a family, support that family, make any sacrifices you need to make,
Yeah,
and and those are all good solid things.
of course.
But in that, I think I got lost in the you know get the career, do blah blah blah, support the family, blah blah, and don't do anything for yourself.
Yeah.
Don't take care of your own needs because you've now committed to this and the
This is your
family.
priority.
Right,
You're
right, and they
fed
still
that.
are,
You're
of course.
wired that way.
Right, and so I
Yeah.
think my generation is just wired that way. And so when I kind of had this, this epiphany that, oh man, I need to start taking care of myself, 2 or 3 months ago now, maybe 4 months ago, it's like everything changed, and like I'm still taking care. Of course, I'm still taking care of everything else, but now I'm so much happier because now I can live, now I can breathe, where before I was just being stifled. So
Right. Right.
yeah,
And that's such a key lesson to just anybody who listens to this, like, hear that.
yeah,
Yes, have your priorities, family, kids, loved ones, animals, whatever, your
right,
job. Those are key fundamentals to life,
yeah,
you know. But in that, be able to prioritize yourself if you can. If that
right,
opportunity is there, take and leverage it
right,
because it is fundamental to you as a person and an individual.
right.
And
Yeah, you can't just go on sacrificing and sacrificing and sacrificing and ignoring your own
needs.
needs, whatever those needs are. For
Yeah.
for me, obviously, it was creativity,
Yeah.
so, and it always has been, of course. I've been a musician since I was, 13 or whatever. I've been writing since I was, 16 or 17,
Yeah.
but then when once family came, it just kind of, no,
It
that
bleeds
all goes
away,
away. Yeah, that all
You
goes away because now I'm a man and now I got to do this,
yeah, you put it
you know?
behind the
Right,
door and say,
right.
"I may or may never see you again."
Right, exactly. And
Right.
so I think over the last, 18 years, I keep saying 15 years in my head, it's 15 years. It was actually 18 years because Emma is 18 years old now. So for the last 18 years, it's been, just docile, just away, so it's nice to have it back and to be able to do that. And I do feel more me and more alive and more free for that.
Yeah,
So yeah,
that's beautiful.
yeah.
That's beautiful. It's not just fuel for the soul, it's a piece of your identity.
Right, exactly. It totally is. It
Yeah.
100% is, yeah.
Yeah. And that's where I think it's easy in this day and age, even in this day and age, and then, previous generations, wherever you are in your
Yeah.
life. I think it's easy to say that a lot of creativity or creative hobbies get dismissed
Yes.
or they're told to be dismissed.
Correct.
And there is a lack of understanding that just as much as a scientist is working on chemical equations and whatever that is in order to find the next cure for something or
Right.
to better understand some sort of scientific discovery, that's analytical. It is just as essential for a creative to embrace the pieces of them that make a part of their identity, that make
Right.
up their identity,
Right.
and that is creating.
Right. I agree.
Obviously, in the Renaissance or the Roman Empire, like there was a lot more cultural appreciation for that creativity. They
Right.
encouraged it. They said
Right.
do it. That was how the economy ran.
Right.
But now in modern culture, it's not. Creativity and those hobbies have taken a massive back seat,
Right.
and there's a lack of appreciation to them being a part of your identity.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so being able to embrace that and say, no, I write or I create, I produce this, I do
Right.
that. Like there's
Yeah.
embrace it.
Right.
This is
No,
me.
I agree, and I definitely, if anyone else is feeling that way, yeah, make time for yourself, and step back and evaluate. Like if you're not giving that enough chance to shine,
Yeah. It's
do
miserable.
because yeah, it'll like Chelsea and I both said, yeah, our joy levels were greatly diminished when sequestering the right word, I think so. But if it's not, somebody should come for me. But anyways, so I said, not to derail you, not to, and so now go back to what you were saying before, because I know you remember exactly what you were going to say.
I do.
No, do
I
you? Oh,
do.
good,
I
good.
do.
Good.
But no, I moral of the story, prioritize you. It
Yes.
is so powerful and it's so invigorating. It's
Yeah.
you thrive.
Yeah.
And we could reshare stories about just how much we suffered when we
Yeah.
took away that part of us.
Right.
And it's terrifying. And I started to see that happening again when I was releasing book 3, because so much of my obligations or promises or just trying to direct my attention anywhere else but
Right.
at what I absolutely loved.
Right.
And it really suffered. And yeah, that was just so much of my writing time felt like I was doing it more out of a chore and an obligation because I owed it to myself. And that's literally what I kept
Right.
saying. Oh, I owe it to myself. I owe it to myself. No, biatch, you this is what you love to do and make more time
Exactly.
for it.
Yeah.
Like
Exactly.
so, and that's so sad. So yeah, I started to notice the same thing happening again while I
Yeah.
was doing book 3, and again, all the timing, everything didn't line up. It was such a fast release and
Yeah. It
it
was.
was so anxiety inducing. I was
Yeah.
like, no, never again. I was like, that will never happen again. And then I jumped into other obligations through the summer while I gave myself a break from book 4.
Sure.
And I had a wake up call and I was like, what are you doing?
Yep. Because I remember this clearly, because my brain is not too good, but if it happened very recently, I can remember it, and I remember this, bro. Like you were, man.
I was like living and breathing in front of my laptop with
Yeah.
all these obligations,
Yeah.
freelance work and all of that.
Yeah.
And
But
I
none of the
wasn't doing
obligations being you. Like,
no.
yeah.
And there
You
were
you were you were getting
I was my
pounded.
yeah, I was
Just yeah.
completely being brutalized.
Yeah.
And that I was miserable. And I
Yeah.
kept saying, "Oh, it's going to end. It's going to end. It's going to end." And then I woke up one day and I said, "The only way it's going to end is if you put your foot down."
Exactly.
And it was just like, no, because I started seeing the August coming up and I realized I had so little of book 4 written. And
Yeah.
I was like, you're repeating the same cycle again. And I can't do this anymore.
Yeah.
I can't.
Yeah.
I'm like, because I now from an outside looking in, it's like you can see the difference in your happiness, how much you thrive, just
Right.
your inner peace.
Yep.
And my gosh, the more you like stoke that creativity,
Yeah.
the more alive you feel.
Yeah.
That yeah.
Stoke is a good word, and for some reason, I just think of, like you said, the more you stoke it, I also think the more you can take.
Yeah.
If you are, if you're just burning embers, if you're just barely burning embers, you can't take a lot of outside, influence. It weighs you down and it's too much. But if you're stoking that thing and if you're roaring, if your fire is, is blues and bright oranges and and things like this and greens, if it's a hot roaring fire, then man, you can take a lot.
You can do
And like,
anything you want.
yeah, yeah. So back to that same point, it's just super important to prioritize. And I'm not saying number one priority, depending on what your responsibilities are, maybe number
Yeah.
three priority, but prioritize it.
Yeah.
Prioritize it. Do it. You have to.
Set
Because
aside some
it's part
time
of you.
every week.
Yeah.
That's yeah,
And
even if
again,
it's
I think
3
we
days
talked
a
about,
week right now.
we talked about this when I first started lifting again,
Yeah.
is don't look at it as have to, look at it as get to. I get to.
It's a privilege.
It's a privilege. Being able
Yeah.
to writing, even if it's, spending 2 hours, writing one paragraph, you get to do that. You don't have to do
Exactly.
that. You get to do that. If you have to do it, then it's not a privilege, and it is a privilege.
That's a good way to do it too. That's a fantastic way to look at it because you get that privilege to really embrace that piece of you.
Right.
And what a beautiful moment.
Right.
Because I
And
know
the fact that what you're doing to embrace that piece of you quite possibly has the chance to be shared with and influence and impact other people. That's just icing on the cake, baby. That's just, yeah, that's just great.
literally could not have said it any better.
Darn right.
Darn
Because
right. Buddy systems and
buddy
embracing your
system.
creativity.
That's
Here
right.
is
Buddy
today's
systems.
episode.
Those are great keywords. Buddy systems and embracing your creativity. Yeah, I
Yeah.
love it.
But
Speaking of embracing creativity, you were talking to me about a fellow author
ooh,
who you've had some communication with that I think we want to get on and have we want to have buddy systems and embracing creativity with this podcast. So who was that author that you were talking about?
L. Meredith.
L. Meredith. L. Meredith.
We
Is that
love you.
E.L. Meredith or the letter L?
Oh, L.
L.
As in
Okay.
letter L. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
L. Meredith. Okay. So
Yeah.
yeah, get a hold of her, or L. Meredith, get a hold of us and come
We
on the show.
want to have you.
Yeah. Come on the
We
show and
love you.
we'll talk and
We love you.
we'll hang out. We'll chill. Speaking of other authors, I'm sure you follow her, Marie Stills. Have you seen all her stuff lately?
Marie Stills. I'm sure I've seen her stuff.
What's
Tell
the
me
name
more.
of the book? What's the name of the book? My Darlings. So
I've seen that.
anyways, it just got optioned for a TV series. Yeah.
Congratulations.
Right. So Marie Stills, congratulations. That's epic. I guess
Freaking badass.
it's either Kelly Ripa is going to be the star or it's her and her husband's company that is producing it. But
oh my gosh, my darlings.
yeah, My Darlings.
Oh my gosh, that is amazing.
Yeah. So
I'm so happy.
Super excited for her. I don't know her personally. We follow each other. And she's part of the community. And
Yeah.
anytime you see someone in the community make that next step of success, man, you feel excellent for them. So like, congratulations to her. That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, that's what we're all here for.
Yeah.
A community of shared passion.
Right. Also,
And-
I hate her. I'm super jealous, and I'm gonna like downvote it 100%. That's what we do too, right? In this
exactly.
in this
Welcome
community,
to the toxic side of the community.
right?
Can I interest you in some cookies?
Exactly. But no, so super stoked for her, and that's man, that's cool. That's super cool.
Oh my gosh, that makes my heart so happy.
Yeah.
Like I love that. And I love being able to share that success because
Yeah.
being able to say, hey, everybody, like follow your passion, follow your dreams,
Right.
embrace that creativity, and just let the pieces fall, man.
Right.
And there might fall in some really amazing opportunities like this one.
And that's the thing, man, is just let them fall.
Yeah.
We don't know her, but we are part of the same community, and we all have.
Yeah.
And again, there are different levels of success. This is just another one of those levels, and it's just the next step for her where she's at. So it's just it's cool. I'm pumped for her.
Oh gosh, that makes me so happy for her. That's amazing. Good for her.
Yeah,
L
good for her.
Meredith,
And
we want you.
L Meredith, come on and chit chat. We'll play.
want
We'll play
you.
around.
L Meredith was so cool. She when we took the turn from Icker and Ink, which still Icker and Ink in our hearts.
Right.
And we took that turn and we went to the Beyond the Page. And we started really digging deep into the community, what makes us tick, what are authors, genre differences, narratives, whatever, world building, however you want to go. it's one of the biggest things that we pointed out early on was just the level of engagement from the community and being able to see that and witness that and just engage back and
Yeah.
say, okay, let's have an open conversation because as we've said routinely now, we really want this to be a writer circle where we just kind of be able to share different opinions, be able to support each other, encourage each other. And if
Right.
you are part of that side of the community and you really want to see that, we see you. Like you are
Right.
engaging with us, we're engaging with you. We
Right.
love it. And that's where I'm getting to with Elle Meredith. It's just she reached out and she's reached out several times now, but last week, I think it was last week, my days are blending together.
Yeah.
And we had this huge conversation about our last episode that we did on AI and one-star reviews and stuff like that.
Oh,
And
cool.
it
Okay.
was so cool. Just the depth of knowledge that she had and her experience, her thoughts on it,
Hmm.
and being able to have that open conversation and know that, okay, nobody's freaking out on each other.
Right.
You know, the
Right.
toxic side of the community, go back down into the hole from with which you came from,
Right. Right.
and we're all, let's continue to lift each other up and support
Right.
each other and have
Right.
open conversations about real topics
Right.
because we're all in this together.
Well, and that's what I'm
So yeah,
hoping. That's what I hope that this podcast will do. And it's just going to take time, man. The algorithm, the fact that everyone's attention is pulled 40 billion different ways. It's just going to take time. But
yeah,
that my goal for this new direction is just to have a writing group.
yeah,
Because like we talked about before with the engagement on social media is it's hard to get that real one-on-one engagement. Yes, you can even have IMs or DMs, and you can have conversations in the comments, like and a heart and things like that. But real engagement is what will encourage you and push you and allow you to encourage and push other people and really form those bonds. And I think we can do that here, especially if we start having people on. I think it's a great idea. I think we should start having people on. Why not?
yeah,
You
yeah,
know, come
yeah.
on in. The
Come
water's
on
fine.
in. Here's
So,
some chocolate milk and
oh, I love chocolate milk. Chocolate milk's so good. Dude, I love it
apparently
so
I'm having
much.
a chocolate craving because I keep referencing back to chocolate-based
Yeah, you did.
items.
You referenced that
So
earlier when we were texting. You referenced chocolate. I have some sad news, Chelsea.
what?
Very, very bad news. Very,
What?
very awful, horrible, terrible news. I'm out of Folgers. I'm out of Folgers.
Code effing red, man.
Right. Right. So that's first of all. I don't know how I'm even speaking with you right now. B, so I had to go down and pick up some real coffee, some frou-frou, boutique coffee. And yes, fine, it smells great and it tastes great, whatever. It's not Folgers. But I also didn't have time to brew that this morning.
You're running
So
off zero coffee?
I'm writing off zero coffee. I had to go grab one of my wife's zero sugar Dr. Pepper zeros.
How is that, by the way?
And
Because Dr. Pepper, that's a hit or miss with the zero sugar.
right. Everything's hit or miss with the zeros. Like if you're gonna drink it, just drink it. If you're trying to go zero sugar, drink coffee.
Sprite zero sugar, I would sell my soul for.
Are you serious?
I love, and I don't drink a lot of soda. I'm actually one of
Yeah.
those weird people that I'm not big on soda.
Yeah.
And maybe
That's good.
once a year, literally once a year, I'll get
Oh
a
wow.
crazy craving for Sprite. And then I'll
Yeah.
pop open a Sprite Zero, drink less than half of it, and go, okay, I'm good.
Crazy. Oh
But yeah,
wow. Okay.
yeah. But I
Yeah. No,
love Sprite Zero.
yeah. Well, so my daughter was feeling cherry limeades. A little like maybe last week.
Ooh.
So she went and got some Sprite. She got some grenadine, and she got some maraschino cherries and some fresh lemons and fresh limes, and so we
Wow.
did the whole thing up. So that was the first soda I'd had in a since I started being healthy again and going no sugar.
I bet it was good though.
Goodness gracious, it was delicious. Oh, it was so good. And so that was
Yeah.
great because normally I look at Sprite as being so boring. Like, oh, it's clear, it's boring. It's like I like my Dr. Pepper, I like my Mountain Dews. From growing up, that's what I always drank.
Mountain
Uh,
Dews are pretty
so I've
fire.
Yeah, so I've always ignored clear
You're a
sodas.
monster.
Your mom's a monster.
Folgers and avoiding Sprite? I mean, like, what kind
Yeah,
of person are
Folgers and
you,
avoiding
dude?
Sprite. What's up? Yeah,
Fuck, man.
dude. Look, all the stuff you like sucks, and you're.
Oh, welcome to the culture.
Right. No, no, I will keep that in, but I'm definitely gonna bleep it.
Bleep it.
My face is red.
Oh my god,
Oh
dude.
gosh.
That was
Oh
just so
gosh.
good. That was so good.
El Meredith, you have
God.
no idea what you're getting into.
Yeah, dude. Welcome to the club.
Right, right.
We're bringing you in. Get
Oh
comfortable,
man.
get a drink. She likes her oat milk. We've had a
Oh,
big
oat milk.
conversation
Okay.
about that, which
So
is
no
very good,
Sprite.
by the way.
No Sprite for her. No Sprite. No Dr Pepper. Uh,
Actually, I
no.
don't know if she likes soda. We're gonna have to find out.
Yeah, we'll
I
find
have
out.
still news to share with you.
Please, please do. I don't know why you
God.
keep talking. I don't know why you keep talking, Chelsea. Just shut up and let me listen to you. Just shut up and let me listen to you, Chelsea.
Oh my god. You know when you laugh so hard you get like flush and hot and you're like,
And
I think I'm
poop.
gonna die. Oh, have you pooped your
I just
pants
did
laughing?
a little bit. It's just. Oh no, it stinks. It's stinky. No, it's not stinky. It's just wet. Okay, go ahead. What were you trying to say? Can you get serious, please?
Can't, dude. I need a moment. I need a moment.
Oh
Oh my
man.
god, dude. I'm like, oh god. I just had a flashback of the story you shared about when you quit your job
Oh yes,
and you
that's a great
walked
story.
out.
That is a great story.
Great, great story. You know,
Yeah,
I think next week we need to resurrect that story
just
and
kind of
share it.
remind people. Was that
That
shared
was an
on
Ichor and
Ichor and
Ink.
Ink? Gotcha. Okay, yep,
Yeah.
we should do that. We
Yeah.
should.
We
So
need
next
to
week, next Friday, we will reshare that story because it's a good story.
it's glorious. And I just appreciate Micah so much for sharing it because
Yeah.
I literally still laugh about it like a year later
Oh, it's so
when he shared
it's
it.
anytime I share it, or anytime
It's
like somebody else brings up something like that and they've heard the story, they end up telling my story because
oh, it's too good. It's
it's
literally
yeah,
there's stories about pooping and
yeah,
then there's your story.
yeah.
And your story is the god of
It's
gods.
pretty great. Like
Yeah.
it's I'm pretty happy it happened to me. Like I'm not gonna lie, it's pretty great.
I'm so glad I pooped my pants.
So
It was
hey, don't
really inspiring.
spoil it.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Goodness gracious.
Gosh.
No,
Y'all
please.
don't even know what you're coming into.
Yeah, so it's the next
Uh,
Friday. Next Friday we'll share. Please, Chelsea,
the
be quiet
news.
and tell your story.
Okay, it's not really a story. My
Oh, okay.
gosh, all this expectation.
Right.
Uh, so I'm finishing Syra,
Okay.
wrapping it back for
Wait,
anybody.
before you start, the coffee mug over there by your sign, why is it it's just a white cup?
Oh, that's not a coffee mug anymore. That is a plant pot.
Oh, it's a plant pot. So is there a
Yeah.
plant in there?
Yes, there's a little
Okay.
pothos that I rescued and have been slowly bringing back to life for over the last few months.
Okay. Okay. So
Yeah,
I don't know how long it's been like that, but I just noticed it. So
it's been
okay.
there for a
Please,
while.
please continue. Stop interrupting and
Yeah, could you
tell
please
your
stop interrupting?
excellent story that we've all been waiting patiently for the last
I
hour.
know, because everybody, if they're anybody like me, they're like, she was going to say something and then they got derailed. Are they going to come back to that?
Yeah. Please come back to it. Please
Because
come
that's
back
what
to
I
it.
do when I listen to a podcast. I will literally stop and be like, are they going to go back to that
Right.
spot?
Right. You got
Are
to go
they?
back.
Are
Which I
they?
mean, I've been asking you to go back to for like the last 40 minutes. So
I know.
please
Come on,
continue.
Micah. Jesus. You keep interrupting me. Okay,
Ah,
so all right, I haven't made this public news yet. So anybody that listens to this, you're gonna be like, oh my gosh, that's new news.
cool.
So I'm finishing Syra up and I'm thinking about booking my development edits for the start of December, end of November.
Holy cow. Really?
Yeah.
But didn't you
Hit
say
the
you
panic
have
button.
all of
Syra Strike? Yeah, I do.
yeah.
Yeah, but
So you're gonna do that in like a month and a half?
oh god, yeah. Yeah,
But
no
wait,
doubt.
so you don't take 2 hours for every paragraph?
No.
Oh,
So
okay.
I've been sitting at my brain.
You've been
All right.
sitting at your brain.
So, if anybody didn't know, I took 400 questions yesterday, 5 hours of exam test taking, and then I did a bunch of writing, and I obviously cannot speak today.
Yeah,
So,
you almost bailed this morning. Not really, but you were like, dude, I'm real tired. So
yeah.
I gave you the out to bail, and
And
you're like,
I
no, let's
said,
freaking do this.
no.
Yeah,
I said, no.
yeah.
So, I don't know where I was going with that,
So you were
but
going because you said you were sitting on your brain, and then you wanted to explain to
oh,
people why you said you're sitting on your brain.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, I was thinking, more eyes done. Cyrus going to be done today. I have
Mhm.
Cyrus, which the majority of his storyline is completely mapped out in my brain.
Yeah.
And I know exactly what's going to happen to him. And that it's 10/11. It's October 11th. And for everybody curious, it is 9:44 a.m. Mountain Time. Because now you really want to know that. and I'm gonna be starting Cyrus's storyline probably like Monday-ish.
Nice.
And I will undoubtedly have it done by the end of the month. Undoubtedly. Once
Awesome.
I'm off because I'm taking my exam next week, and
Yeah.
so that is taking up a lot of my
Sure.
bandwidth for
Yep.
anything mental. But once I'm out of that, assuming I pass, I better pass. If not, all rain hell.
Yes.
But I'm gonna dive into writing, and I'll have a lot more creative bandwidth for that.
Right.
And so I want to have them done by the end of October, and that'll give me a month to do self edits. And
That'll be
all
sick.
my edits, I've left comments to myself.
Yeah.
How amazing.
Yeah.
So much more
Yeah.
organized. So I'm gonna
That's
reach out
dude,
to my editor.
so are you gonna do that this weekend? Are you
I'm gonna
thinking you're that close?
I'm gonna reach out to my editor because my project's obviously bigger, and so I'd like to
Yeah.
give him a heads up.
Sure.
And
Yeah.
so that way he's aware of it. And if he has any projects or like any other clients that reach out, he's like, okay, now mentally, I know that I have this 145,000 word
Right.
manuscript coming my way.
Right.
And so I'd like to give him that advance notice. So I will
Yeah.
be reaching out to him and saying,
Cool. Good
yeah.
job, dude.
So yeah, I don't know. Release date, I'm not going there yet. I'm just taking it. If I can get development edits before the end of the year, that would be
Yeah.
like
So
that
you
would
have
be
said
top
spring
peak.
though, but you haven't given it like a date.
No,
But
no
you
date
have
yet.
said spring. Yeah.
Yes, it will be spring for sure.
Okay.
But especially if I do development edits this before 2025,
Yeah.
that's going to be huge. And I also am feeling pretty confident on the development edits that he's going to do.
Cool.
I think this is going to be one of my strongest development edit pieces that I hand
Good.
him, and so
Awesome.
that would really shorten the time frame.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm book 3. I had a major plot hole that I handed to him, and I did not realize, and that was a
Interesting.
terrifying experience.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
think I nearly cried 3 times because
Yeah.
I had to do massive rewrites
Crazy.
because there was a huge plot hole that I just completely didn't see. None of that. I mean, it was so
Wow.
obvious. It was like
Yeah.
terrifying.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know why I didn't see that, but life.
If you
So
need any help, or if you happen to have some plot holes or some things you can't figure out when it comes to elevation and shadows on leaves, let me know, because I am now a professional at that specific area. So
the incline of the mountain.
yes, if you need specific help on the elevation, the incline of a mountain, and how that affects the leaf
I will.
shadows,
I
yeah,
may hit you up on the scene I wrote. I just want to make sure the shadows laid right.
yeah,
Yeah. I just a little bit
yeah.
worried about that.
Any shadow work you need, I'm your guy.
Yeah. Shadow work.
Yeah.
That sounds
So
like a dark smut romance start.
shadow work, yeah. I was gonna go somewhere with it, but the only place I can go is buttholes, and we've already gone to buttholes too many
We've done
times. So.
monk buttholes a few
Yeah,
times.
yeah, that's true.
So,
We did monk buttholes. I mean, come
yeah.
on.
Very specific.
I can't even remember if I bleeped. I probably bleeped those, didn't I?
I don't even know.
I think I did. I can't remember.
Literally put the episode on and I had it on mute while I was freaking doing a test and I just let it run.
Yeah, just let it run. Yeah, yeah. So I was looking into, obviously I'm looking into graphic designers. I'm looking into editors. I'm looking at all these things. I was also looking into audiobook narrators.
Oh my gosh, that is my dream.
Yeah. It's not cheap.
No.
Yeah. It's I think the average comes out to about $500 per hour of finished work.
The cheapest I was offered was $3,000 for my first book.
For finished.
For finished, all rights given to me.
2 cents a word. I mean,
2 cents a word. It's not bad.
It's not bad, and
When
it
you
is a
break
lot
it
of work.
down,
And there is
it's a lot of work.
So
I know it's a lot of work.
So I'm definitely not poo-pooing on the fact that these people do their jobs, they do it well, and they deserve to be paid.
Yeah,
but
it's a lot when you write big books.
Right.
That's the difference. It's one thing if you write a 60,000 word book. It would be if I had 60,000 word books, heartbeat. I would have been like, book it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But times that by 2.5.
Yeah. Right.
And now you're looking at our cost.
Right.
And like, Mike, I know you've said yours could be up in there. Like,
well, have I ever told you where I'm getting that number from for my my goal number for my finished book?
No.
My goal number is just to beat anything you've ever written.
F you.
That is my goal number. So if there needs to be a epilogue to the epilogue, that will happen. Like just
no
so that yes.
way. No way.
So depending on what book 4 comes out at, like if it comes out to like 169, I'm gonna be 171. Like just to beat whatever you've written. And
Then
that is
I'm not gonna tell you the final word count.
you'll tell me.
No,
Oh, you'll tell me.
no, I
You'll
don't
tell
want
me.
to.
But it'll be done.
I'm
Remember,
gonna make you gamble this one.
I'm not gonna be ready until holidays of 2025. You're gonna be out spring of 2025.
I'm not gonna tell you.
I'll count.
You're gonna sit there 1,
Yeah, 1,
2,
2,
3,
3. No, probably
4.
what I'll do is I'll count 1 full page and then multiply that by how many pages and just give the average.
Oh, give the average, but you might be wrong. Still might be wrong.
I might be wrong, but then I'll get the average and then I'll just add 10,000 to that. You're not gonna win. I'm gonna beat you.
I'm literally gonna reach out to my editor and be like, please understand that I might have to add 16 chapters.
Right. This is where you could do your not compendium. Yeah, you could do your compendium or whatever in this one.
Yeah. This will be the
Here's an
moment.
extra 20,000 words of encyclopedia for you.
Of stuff
you
you may never look at, but
Right.
just for that word count.
Yeah.
Just for that word count.
So yeah, that's where my word count goal
Wow.
for the book is.
I'm enlightened, Micah. I'm enlightened.
I know
Now that
you
I
are.
understand where the war has actually begun.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Speaking of war, the Harry Tushy comments were pretty
Dude, that was
hilarious.
epic.
Yeah.
That was epic.
Yeah, that was pretty funny. I was enjoying that.
Emran's responses were like top notch.
Yeah. It was pretty good.
You are an urban legend, Micah.
It's what I do. Just to let you know, I personally don't mind if your tushy is hairy. It doesn't bother me,
I
Chelsea.
mind.
It doesn't bother me. It's okay.
I
It's quite all right. Yeah, I'd still be like, "What's up, girl?
What's up, girl?
That's sweet butt. You wanna braid those
You
those
wanna
locks?
braid those dingleberries?
Yeah, braid those dingleberries. Come on now. Oh crap! I just pooped a little again.
Stop,
Too
dude.
funny.
You're like your pants.
Yeah, it just I lifted up and I was laughing, and so it was a little too much too much ab work and
gravity just pulled.
just a little bit of too much, a little bit of a pooter. That's okay.
Well, I've got a hairy butt, and Micah's pooped his pants.
Yep. And that's just a Friday morning for us.
Yeah, dude. Welcome back.
Okay, so until next time, I have been Micah.
I've been Chelsea.
And together we have been not Icker and Ink. Until next time. Good night.
Good night.